But yesterday we had Group A. We had very exciting games. We had two players that I don't think most people expected to get out. Goes to Dark and SPX, kind of a surprising result.
Okay,
Jaeyoon and Aru already being eliminated. But today we're going into Group C. We've got SuGo, NeMu, Dark, and Terror. What do you think about these players?
I'm pretty excited for this. I think Terror should be a favorite to make it out. And then NeMu's, he was active quite a bit more back when I was doing some casting a few years ago. So it's nice to see him return. From what I remember, he's got some pretty strong micro, a pretty good 2v2 background, some pretty aggressive, clever builds and stuff like that. So he could certainly be a challenge. And then I haven't watched Dark play too much, so I'm excited to see him. And then, of course, we've got SuGo playing as well.
Yeah, I of course think Terror's probably the big favorite here. He's just an amazing Terran.
Oh, yeah.
And SuGo, he dominated the Nation Wars, EU versus NA and NA versus SA. The only player to win in both of those series. And I'll be honest here, I don't really know who NeMu is, but based on what you're saying, being a good 2-on-2 player, and I was reading just how he's writing in the Discord chat, it seems like he's pretty close to Terror, maybe. And if you're close to Terror, I'm pretty sure you're probably gonna be a fantastic player. So he's got a good shot of getting out. The real only person I have no idea about is Dark. Dark, I don't recognize that name at all. But if you're qualifying for BSL, you've got to be a great player.
You're doing something right, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he can get out just like Ghost of Dark got out yesterday.
Yeah. I recognize the name Dark. I want to say, another one of those kind of been playing for a long time, A- IC Cup players. I don't think he ever had any like super top tier results, but always a solid established solid foreign player. So I'll be excited to see his games.
Yeah, so if he's an A- I Cup player, A- is kind of the threshold for a lot of foreigners, so it's definitely a very good ranking. But we are going to be going into SuGo versus NeMu as our first matchup. We are going to be going into Circuit Breakers. Our maps today, at least for this matchup, is going to be Circuit Breaker. It is Eddie as our second map, and Heartbeat. Now, I'm excited for Heartbeat because we've already had a ladder tournament with this map. And we had really good games. Gorinich going the distance versus Dandy. So I am excited to see this. It's the first time so far in the round of 16 we're going to see a new BSL map.
There we go.
But I'm ready. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so let's get into game one. We've got NeMu versus SuGo on Circuit Breakers. All right, so in the bottom left, we have the NA Protoss. It is SuGo.
And in the top left-hand corner, as our red Zerg, we have NeMu returned from after a few years of inactivity to show his stuff yet again.
So you were talking about how you know a little bit about NeMu, so maybe you can go into a little bit of detail of how he plays, because he is an unknown player to me.
Yeah, from what I remember, definitely a player that would be a little more towards the aggression, the micro style oriented play. I'm pretty damn sure. Nemo, if I'm wrong, I'm apologizing. I'm pretty sure Bulgaria is where he hails from. So I'm excited to see him play, and he was one of those guys. Again, maybe not quite true touch level of draw. Some of those guys playing then, but just a small tier behind them. So he's definitely a force if he's back in shape, and given he's qualified in such things, it would certainly seem to suggest that he's back in some form of shape.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to that then, if you're talking about possibly being almost true touch level. Now, I gotta say that we've got SuGo with a forward pylon. A lot of times we're seeing Forge expands, but this time, because that probe is there, it's going to be gateway opener from SuGo. He's going to put on a little bit of pressure. Now, we see NeMu. This is looking like it's going to be another 12 hatch that we just saw a lot from Jaeyoon yesterday. Now, SuGo going for that middle scout with the probe, doesn't see an Overlord. Now, I think you're a Protoss player, correct? So what do you think about this opener from SuGo versus what NeMu's going for?
Obviously he'll have a chance to come in there with the first Zealot and do a little bit of harass. We'll see here. Is NeMu... Okay, never mind. He's saving up. But given that NeMu, should have some pretty crisp micro, again, that 2v2 background coming into play, I think he'll do all right against this. And I don't know, I haven't had a chance to watch a ton of games of SuGo, so I guess we'll just have to see where he's at with his Zealot micro, because obviously a Protoss with strong Zealot control can certainly be a threat against something like a 12 hatch.
Yeah, so I play versus Sugo quite often on the ladder. Of course, Protoss versus Terran. It's not the same as Protoss versus Zerg, but lately Sugo has been proxying quite a bit, and because of that, we're seeing this Zealot come out for him, and I think he'll have pretty good micro with the Zealot. Now, this is a bit interesting that he went for the Zealot, but he's leaving it back at his main. I would expect him to already get out on the map, but like you were saying, maybe NeMu more aggressive, and because of that, Sugo's just playing defensive here. But if he's going to play defensive, whoa, what kind of
What?
what is this?
What is this? All right. We'll just throw down a hatch, I guess. Yeah, I guess the fact that Zealots are stayed back, though, makes this maybe a little less useful.
Yeah, this is so weird. So for those of you who watch StarCraft 2 or don't watch StarCraft 2, there's a player named Katz who does stuff like this often. He does proxy hatches to deny bases. So I'm getting flashbacks to that, but it did somewhat delay Sugo's Nexus, but I'm not sure that's worth it because, you know, the cancel is going to it's caused the Zerg to lose 75 minerals, but at least NeMu has confirmed Sugo's build, and this original Zealot pressure that I thought was going to be coming has ended up not coming at all. So I am kind of confused by this.
Yeah, and I guess the interesting thing about it is, you know, if Sugo had been harassing with those Zealots, you know, then the hatch would have stayed there. It would have been pretty hard to kill. He would have had to send him back or, you know, just wait for the next one. But since he just left the Zealots there, it made it kind of an interesting choice.
Yeah, so in the end, it was pretty genius from Sugo. It denied the hatchery. One thing that I do have to say about this build is because he has the gateway so fast, we already have 3 Zealots. So I feel like this build wasn't even necessarily designed to pressure Zerg. I feel like it's more about I'm just flat out going to have more Zealots than usual for that normal 7:30 timing.
Yeah.
That could be the logic behind this.
Could be. But it looks like with that cannon coming up, NeMu did make a decent number of lings here, but I think with that cannon coming up and the Zealot's already out, I don't think they're going to be able to get any sort of kill on these gateways. And yeah, NeMu's just going to have to back up.
Yeah, so the ling pressure coming out from NeMu not really working out for him, and that was a lot of lings to build. He may have
trying to block the ramp, but a little hard to do here on Circuit Breaker.
Yeah, Sugo getting into the main, and he's scouting everything. And I want to point out that unlike almost all Zerg versus Protoss games I see nowadays, that third hatchery from NeMu, it's not at another base, not at, you know, top right Circuit Breaker. It's not even at the mineral only. This is in his own natural. And based on this placement, I feel like that this has got to be a 3-hatch Hydra build.
Yeah, that seems, although he is getting the lair, but again, that can just be a fake. And indeed, just as you say it, there is a Hydra Den. I guess there's a small chance we could see like a 3-hatch lurker, but we haven't been seeing that very often. I'd be pretty surprised. And also, I know there's been the thread talking about the way Sulky recently did a Hydra bust, hitting maybe a little bit earlier. So I'll be curious to see if this is perhaps something like that. Although there is a second gas going down now.
Yeah, so in ASL, Sulky got scouted, and he ended up going for a Hydra bust after getting his lair scouted. Now, I saw NeMu getting speed, and because we saw the lair, I think that he's going to go for a Ling Lurker bust. And there it is. We do have the Lurker upgrade being researched. Now, like you said, we don't see this often, but Ling Lurker bust is pretty strong. You send in the Lings or the Lurkers, doesn't really matter which, to just soak up some hits. And if you've got maybe 5 or so Lurkers, they shred cannons almost instantly.
They do.
And based on how Protoss players play nowadays, it's not like they're rushing robotics. So once these cannons go down, that's going to be it for Protoss.
Yep, and then I guess the other thing too will be the wall. And if there's a good wall, the Lurkers can't quite get up in the face of the cannons. But as long as they can get down their burrow and do some damage to the wall, or if there's only a couple cannons, then it gets really, really scary. Now, if Sugo can like sniff this out, maybe get up 6 cannons, something like that, then it's a little different. And he did. Oh, never mind. He's got a Corsair flying in here.
Yeah, so Sugo's scouting the main. Now, he doesn't see Spire, but he does see double gas. I feel like the double gas has got to be a dead giveaway here, that it's no longer a 3-hatch Hydra. But I want to point out that NeMu, we have drops being upgraded from him also. He's got a lurker going into position at the bottom side of the map. And if I'm Sugo in this position, yeah, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's got tons of cannons coming down. He's got the robotics. So Sugo knows exactly what's going on. He He knows he just needs to survive at this point. He's going to be in a fantastic position. 2-base Protoss versus 2-base Zerg. That is definitely...
Oh man, NeMu going in first round here on the Zealots, and SuGo's losing a few. Loses 1 or 2 there, but NeMu also losing about 5 or 6 lings and pouring in quite a few more lings here, going to force SuGo back over to his cannons. And then we also saw NeMu doing a little bit, moving that Overlord there at bottom right. And given that he's researching drop and we don't see any speed, that's probably the Overlord he wants to use to ferry a few lurkers in.
Yeah, so he's going to be ferrying in those lurkers. Now, I am worried that SuGo doesn't have a cannon in his main. I don't expect him to put one there because we haven't seen the Spire. There are the lurkers already ready to go. I'm getting flashbacks to SuGo versus Egg.
Oh, this is bad,
SuGo
yeah.
lost to
No
fast
Robo,
lurkers.
but...
Yeah, the Robo's done, but where's the observatory? He's not even going observatory, he's going Reaver.
Reaver, oh no.
Terrible for him.
Oh man, alright. Oh, the probe's even going to react, he doesn't even see it. He's too worried about watching the main, he's going to lose so many probes. Oh no, SuGo. Ouch.
Yeah, so
SuGo's 10 kills and 11 kills.
Oh my gosh, 11 probe kills. That's terrible. And look at where the robotics is positioned. Of course, NeMu doesn't know this. He's just going to focus down the Nexus, but he could potentially even focus down the robotics. But regardless, these are 2 lurkers. Look how fast the Nexus is dying. It's already lost 300.
Yeah, he won't be able to save it. I was going to say maybe there was a chance if he was making a Reaver, he could get it over and, like, you know, put a Zealot there and shoot Scarabs or something like that, but not with that pylon, not with that placement, not with this timing. No chance.
And look
so this is pretty much crippling damage already.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how SuGo can recover from this. He's going to lose the Nexus. Look at the supply for NeMu. We've got 67 to 40. He's got a lot of units. Of course, there are a lot of cannons. It's going to be very difficult for SuGo to bust out. But is SuGo going to save this Nexus? It is at 350 health. The Observer's pretty close. I don't think he's going to. Here comes NeMu through the front, but I don't know about
reinforcement
so
drop. Just a few lings. He's going to just drop in a few lings here just in case. But, you know, actually, wait, nope. One of the lurkers, was in range of the cannon, target firing the Nexus. But the lings will finish it off. He actually might just... no, the Observer's not there in time. Oh!
Wow, the last shot from the lurker taking out the Nexus. So unfortunate for SuGo that he does lose his main. But NeMu attacked the front, and look at the result. SuGo only lost 1 cannon, so NeMu lost a lot of supply here. But I just noticed that Overlords have speed now. He doesn't even have to fight these cannons. He can just elevator into the main.
And there's only Zealots, so I mean, if he brings 3 or 4 Overlords and drops some lurkers buffered with lings, no way Zealots can fight that. No Storm, no Dragoons, there's just no way.
Yeah, SuGo at this point only has pure Zealot, none of that AoE that Protoss desperately needs to fight the Zerg army. And here comes those Overlords. They're loading up right now. Meanwhile, NeMu is doing exactly what you should be doing. He's taking bases, he's powering behind it. But this drop, I just feel like it's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, 5 Zealots. What are 5 Zealots going to do against 4 or 5 lurkers with some supporting lower tech units?
Oh, and this is just anti-timing for SuGo. He just built his Nexus, and he's going to have to insta-cancel it.
Yeah. Actually, there's not quite as many lurkers as I expected there to be in this drop, but still enough to force these Zealots back. Can't afford to fight at that lurker, taking too much damage on these clump Zealots.
Yes, so everything is going wrong for SuGo. If we look at the natural, look at the Reaver. He's got a Reaver out.
Oh man, yeah. I was worried about that pylon. I was like, where's it gonna go? How's it gonna get to the main?
So this is probably just gonna be a quick game for NeMu. I just don't see SuGo coming back from this point. He's losing his main again. We have no counter to the lurkers. We have pure Zealot. Reavers can't get out. He's now killing the pylon. He's got 2 Reavers, but those are the slowest units in the game. By the time they get up here, everything's gonna be gone.
Oh yeah, and I mean, given the probes he's lost, the fact that he still doesn't have a Nexus, NeMu's got 3 solid hatches going, taking a 4th. Ugh.
So,
oh my god, these Reavers
killed the pylon. One of them still stuck. But look, he's building a shuttle in the robotics, but because it's unpowered, it can't get out now.
Oh man, he didn't even notice that. Yeah, no panic.
So finally, we've got 1 Reaver here. It should be able to deal.
Oh my god.
The Reaver, is it gonna fire? What's going on?
Reavers are so stupid sometimes. Wow, this is like epic Reaver stupidity. What?
TT1 in the chat. I'm sure he's blown up. Meanwhile, we've got a huge drop from NeMu in the back of the mineral line at the natural. Now, SuGo's not mining.
Yeah. And he can't even get this stupid Reaver over because it's just busy being dizzy. Oh my god. Poor SuGo.
Yeah, this... I mean, NeMu played well, but this is one of the most unfortunate games I've ever seen coming out for SuGo. Like, literally nothing has gone well for him, except for the initial phase with those Zealots stopping the hatch.
Yep.
So, I mean, SuGo's going to play it out, but he's so behind. He's got 3 bases. NeMu's got tons of macro hatches going up at his 3rd base.
He's got 11 minerals and he's not mining.
Yeah, he can't even build it. He can't even build scarabs at this point because he has no money.
I mean, I guess SuGo could go harass with his 2 shuttles, and if he killed every single drone or something, but like realistically, let's be honest, SuGo's really, really, really dead.
Yeah, this is unrecoverable from SuGo. He does have Reavers. There's another drop coming in. This time there's only 1 lurker, and if this Reaver can fire, it can kill a whole bunch of lings. Can it fire though? Okay, there it is.
This time, oh, that was a great scare. As if to make up for its absolute derpage earlier.
Yeah, but supplies are doubled. SuGo's gonna get this Nexus, but it doesn't matter at this point. He's lost so much. NeMu's so huge. He's got 6 hatches. He's got lurkers set up defensively in case there's a potential counter drop. He's even got Hydra set up at his natural, so he's ready for any play that SuGo can throw at him. I see the shuttle moving. This has got to be SuGo's only attempt back into this game. He's probably going to GG out once he realizes he can't do anything with this.
Yeah, I mean, like, NeMu's already ready for this. I mean, even if SuGo killed, like, every drone, it would still be bad for SuGo, but, like, he's not going to kill every drone. Let's be honest.
And what I do like about what we're seeing from NeMu here is if we look at only his vision, he sees the entire map. This is exactly what you should do when you're in a dominating position like that. Really the only way a player could come back is if they're hiding a base. Yep. But he knows that, and he's just got vision everywhere. He's not going to let something like that cause him to lose the game.
Only missing vision of what, 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock rather, but not too worried. And he probably has a pretty good idea because I mean he can go in the base. He can see he's been in the base a bunch. He knows there's only 2 gateways. He knows there's like 2 zealots. You know, there's just nothing that's threatening him.
Yeah, so SuGo's going to move out now. He's got 4 zealots and 2 reavers. But we have Scourge popping out for NeMu, and from what I know, zealots and reavers don't hit air, so this is going to be a heartbreaker. Oh no, they see.
All right, we're going to crawl the reavers up to attack. Is that our last gasp, or are we just going to GG? I don't know.
So I guess SuGo's going to.
Oh, the Scourge went past the shuttle. Okay, now they're coming back to get the shuttle.
Yeah, but. Look, we already have 8 lurkers ready. He can't get back. The observer's gone. Yeah, there's the quick GG from SuGo. So unfortunately for SuGo, nothing going right for him there. But NeMu played well. I also like that he pulled out a very unorthodox build. So now SuGo's got to be worried going into future rounds that he cannot play standard versus this guy, and that may cause him to overreact. And maybe we'll see more standard play coming out from NeMu in future games.
Yep, and I'm just gonna grab my mouse pad, so I'll be back in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, so that I honestly feel for SuGo there. Games like that just happen where nothing goes wrong. For example, you put your factories too close together and then tanks pop out up against the wall and they can't move. Exactly what happened there with the Reaver. I hope that game does not tilt SuGo. I don't think SuGo is very tiltable. So I don't think it will affect him that much, but I do hope that he has a better showing in the coming games, because really it was... So
you're saying SuGo has a good mindset in that sense that he does...
Yes, so unfortunately, SuGo going down 0-1, NeMu's up 1-0. He only needs 1 more to go into the winner's bracket. And I am ready to get into game 2 if we're ready.
Indeed.
Alright, so our second map is going to be In the Way of an Eddy. Been seeing a trend so far in the groups, Circuit Breaker and In the Way of the Eddy being a common map throughout. Now, what do you think of In the Way of an Eddy? Again, you're a Protoss player. I know people don't like Circuit Breakers that much versus Zerg, and In the Way of an Eddy, I feel like it's kind of an even worse Circuit Breaker.
Yeah, in certain ways. And then the other thing is it's definitely a map, and for these kind of players, it won't be as much of an issue, but it's definitely a map you have to have thought a little bit about your building placements. If you just kind of hop on it for the first time, it can be a little hard to get good gateway placement and be able to make enough stuff.
Yeah, In the Way of an Eddy, It is very important to organize your base because it's so kind of clumped at the bottom, and also there's that high ground where units like tanks can overlook and start wailing down on supply depots. For me, very unforgiving. Also, in the way of an eddy, is similar to Gladiator in the sense where there's not a lot of buildable terrain directly outside of your natural, so you got to
Yep.
have good unit comp to deal with everything. There's also these pathways, Gladiator-esque, where you may have a dominating army, but because you take a fight on the low ground, it can be
Yeah,
very
yeah, that part's
unforgiving.
hard.
So
Good
with
map to
how
just sit out and camp with like lurkers or something on a couple high ground ridges. That's really hard to attack into.
yeah, very, very unforgiving, this map. So I'm ready to go into game 2. We're going to have SuGo versus NeMu on Eddy.
I think I'm ready as well. Let's do it.
Okay, so in the top left, we've got our NA Protoss. He is down 1-0. It is SuGo.
And in the top right, with a little 3-hatch Hydra aggression to take a pretty convincing game 1, we have BSL6's NeMu.
So on Eddy, we already saw SuGo go for a gateway expand. Is that the type of build that you think is better on Eddy, or do you think that SuGo might possibly go for a Forge expand here?
I guess it just depends on his preference. You can do some pretty decent walls on this map, so he might opt for that. But I don't know his play style a little bit. It was interesting to see him do that gate expand and then stay back with it. I don't know if that was just because he hadn't scouted and didn't want to be out on the map against an aggressive player like NeMu, afraid that there would be like a 9-pull or a 9-pull speed or something coming. So we'll see what the game plan is this game.
Yeah, we didn't really get to see the whole game plan come out for SuGo. I think he did start moving out at around 6:30, so it was kind of what I was talking about, where I think he does get the gateway to just get out more zealots in the early game. And we see the probe already positioning. This is going to be another gateway expand build.
And this one looks like it's going to be on 9, perhaps. Not actually, yeah, it's going to be a 9 gate.
Oh, wow, a 9 gate, so a little faster than the normal 10 gate. That's going to let his zealot get across the map a little faster. And NeMu has already shown that he likes to go for 12 hatch, at least so far. Maybe now this zealot will get across the map and will not play defensively.
Yeah, especially since the probe's going to be in the base. I would be very surprised if he just sits back this time. Like a 9 gate, if he just sits back with a 9 gate, I would be very, very confused, especially with a probe in the base.
Yeah, so luckily for SuGo, he gets a first scout, but the probe does not block the hatchery. Not a huge deal, I don't think, because of how fast this zealot is going to come out. And now NeMu, he's not being greedy. He's not building extra drones to get the spawning pool out. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, that's pretty risky, given how common gate expand is. You know, if you try to go 12 or 13 pool, that's going to be a long time before you have lings out. That's going to just be pure drone micro.
Yeah, so SuGo has confirmed the 12 hatch in the pool. Now he's doing a little bit of harassment with this probe. This is pretty cute. It's pretty annoying for Zerg because, they have limited workers in the early game. Now SuGo is sending out a second probe to the natural, but he doesn't have minerals for a nexus, so I wonder if this is for. Maybe a forge behind it? Nope, it's setting up for a nexus.
Yep. Looks like he's going to make just one zealot and go into a nexus, so get the nexus out pretty fast. But of course, NeMu's got an overlord, so he'll see it and be able to tailor his response. And NeMu's doing a good job here with this drone, getting quite a few hits off on this probe, and it's definitely worth it to get some hits on that, especially if you can start to get into the health, because of course that probe and the zealot has that combo where if you've got the probe hit, you can kill a drone in 2 shots instead of 3.
Yeah, probe plus zealot versus lings, you just start seeing lings get evaporated. Now this zealot is going in deep. He's trying to get behind the mineral line.
Yeah.
Now there's not that many good spots on Eddy, so I'm not sure about this behind the mineral line, but he's going for the drones.
He's going in here. Okay, and he moves. That's a nice move. Gets out of the way of those drones, forcing some pretty good pulls here, at least getting a little mining disruption, and now he'll probably just head right behind the minerals, I imagine.
Yeah, so he's trying to get in position behind it. But like I said, Eddy, you're kind of like, look at this. It's not the greatest mineral placement to get behind. So I'm not sure how well it'll work out.
I like how he's at least positioned the probe and the zealot there to fight, but should be able to get some pretty good surface area. Probe goes down very fast. That's well handled by NeMu. Looks like he's going to lose just one ling. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. So this harassment from SuGo really did nothing for him. And also, this is
Protoss made a lot of lings. This is a little bit scary now for SuGo.
Yeah, it's so important for Protoss to know what Zerg is doing because they have so many all-ins. And because of that, he lost the probe, not just the Zealot. Now he's got to send out a second one, and he's missing all the Lings. Now, I'm not sure he's necessarily scared about these Lings because we already have a cannon and Zealot.
Yeah, it'll finish. I was a little worried it wouldn't finish, and then he might have a chance, but yeah, this looks like it'll be plenty safe for him.
So,
and
again...
he should sneak in this probe. NeMu's trying... Actually, no, this is a drone. Never mind. I don't know. I guess he's going to... Is NeMu going to take a far base? Looks like he might.
Yeah, so this is really another weird build coming out from NeMu because we already saw the hatchery.
What?
A third hatch at the Nat. Now he's going for a fourth hatch.
I'm wondering, does NeMu not... Well, he's played on the ladder. He should know the map, but his drone went a very, very bizarre route over here.
Yeah, it might have just been a little bit of a misclick, but this Zerg build, you know, a lot of times you're seeing Zergs go for like a 230-ish gas. We still don't have gas yet.
Yeah.
And not only that, SuGo sees it. Like, look, he's got a Citadel building before NeMu's mining gas. So what could this possibly mean for NeMu? I feel like this is going to be another mass Hydra build.
Yeah, most likely you would think. He's only done 4 hatch before gas. There's also a 5 hatch before gas variant. I believe it's actually No One, LRM No One, who published a guide to it on TL a few years ago. Not quite what this is, but I would be surprised to see this be anything other than some form of Hydra aggression.
Yeah, to me this is looking like Hydra aggression, and SuGo's just got a great counter to it. He's going straight Citadel. He knows he doesn't need a Stargate because he just scouted everything. He's going to have a lot of these strong Zealots just getting on top of Hydras. There's not even lair behind this, so it's not like NeMu can sit behind lurkers.
So I'll have a pretty reasonable timing, and then I'm just curious to see if he adds more gateways. Like, is this going to be just 2-gate speed lock pressure or 4-gate speed lock pressure? Because against 4-hatch, you know, particularly depending on the timings, if you can get those Zealots out and harassing, it's a tricky position because then Zerg basically just has to make Hydras defend, which they don't necessarily want to do. Sometimes they want to power up a little bit.
Yeah, that's one of the most difficult parts about Zerg is kind of balancing when you can drone and when you can, or when you have to build units. So if SuGo gets out on the map with just a few Zealots, like you said, it's going to force out Hydras when he doesn't necessarily want to build them just yet. But we do have 3 gates for SuGo so far. Probably going to go into that 4-gate style that we see most often.
And yeah, I'm a little bit scared for NeMu. I guess he's got a decent number of Lings. But, you know, SuGo's going to hit, if he comes out with speed, he's going to hit a pretty crisp timing here. And NeMu is definitely not going to have any Hydra ups. And he might not even have all that many Hydra. We'll see what he does with these Lings here as SuGo moves out. Although SuGo only has 4 Zealots. Okay, 5. That's not a ton. I thought he was going to have like 6, maybe.
Yeah, so SuGo's got almost 6 Zealots. He's got 5 right now. A few more coming out. Key thing is he's got speed done pretty soon. And I'm looking at what NeMu has. We have 1 Hydra, 10 Lings. Sunkens are going up at the natural. But SuGo doesn't know about mid-right. If he did know about mid-right, I feel like mid-right's going to die.
Mid-right's the place to pressure. And we'll see how SuGo plays this pressure. We'll see if he commits to attacking, or if he just kind of tries to pick off Hydra in between the 2 bases. Oh, doesn't see that one out in the open. But NeMu definitely wants to pull back, does not want to give up Hydra for free here. And he's going to lose at least 1.
Yeah, so SuGo trying to make something happen here. I don't think he has enough to get anything done, but at least he has forced out units from NeMu, so that's implied economic damage. Meanwhile, behind this, SuGo's responding.
Oh, NeMu is really far out here, though. He's going to need to micro very well, but I guess SuGo doesn't want to take this on, not feeling confident enough. Which I'm a little surprised at. Equal Zealots to Hydras, that seems like it would have been a good fight for SuGo to take and at least force those Hydras back a bit.
Yeah, so I think SuGo was kind of more worried about those. Oh, what's he doing now? He's running by.
That was a bit of an AFK army. All right, now NeMu's getting to that point where he's got too many units, and SuGo's going to have to turn tail and go home. But of course, he got that archives up pretty quick. He's cannoning up. I think he's got his response about right. Let's see, how close is he to Storm? Okay, yeah, I guess that explains. He does need to make these numbers of cannons.
Yeah, so he is responding appropriately, getting enough cannons to make sure he doesn't die. I am getting worried that he's giving up map control to NeMu right now. There's so many cannons. Okay, there's a DT. That's one way to get back map control. What?
SuGo went to the bottom, but he doesn't know about the right. This is like weird zealot movement from SuGo to go all the way to the bottom with all of his zealots.
Yeah, like, he did.
He already kind of saw these bases. He saw that Hydra were coming up from that direction. I don't really understand this, unless he's just trying to do some weird sneak attack. He's going to run in here. Creep is not done, but NeMu's still got a lot of his stuff. You know, he's got stuff in the natural. He's got a sunken going. He's got Lings here to delay. This shouldn't really do a whole lot.
Oh, so the DT went into the natural, didn't get in, and it died. But at least it saw the Muta. So NeMu going for a Muta switch here, and this is going to be great. Look at the main of SuGo. There's
he's really thrown off by this.
I don't think they're going to be ready.
And of course, he didn't come in here, so he hasn't seen that there's the gas over in the third base that's allowing this either. But there's an Archon. He has had time to morph the Archon, so that's... Well, Muta can still do a hell of a lot of damage, though, if they're well controlled.
Yeah, which they are in the way of an Eddy. Not much surface area behind the minerals, and look at that. He's wiped out most of the probes at the mineral line. He's also forced out additional cannons. Those Templars that were banking a lot of energy.
That's the big thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, are now morphed into Archons, so they're going to be not very good versus Hydras. And I'm looking at what NeMu's doing behind this. We have Hive already halfway done.
Now that's interesting. Okay. Because I felt like with forcing the Templars to morph, you could just go straight into Lurker or something like that, or just, you know, kind of power Hydra, but it seems like that's not going to be an option. A probe going out here probably to take a third base. We'll see if NeMu finds that and intercepts it or not.
So
NeMu's going to go for the cannon. The Archon's got to come back. It needs to come back and defend, but the cannons are going to go down in the main since the Archon isn't being pulled back. And NeMu's going to get quite a few probes here in the main now.
Yeah, he's overlooking a sweet spot. He even gets a full probe pull here. This is fantastic for him.
Yeah.
And SuGo, he's feeling the pressure because now he's moving out. He's given up his mineral line. But I think NeMu just has too much. He's got a decent amount of Hydras. He's got Sunkens everywhere.
Yeah,
well, maybe not. There's not
here.
that many Hydras.
But there's only, what, one Archon? And the Templar are lagging behind. And with the interception of the Templar, that's definitely going to kill any chance of aggression here. Which was an interesting choice here for SuGo to move out, knowing there's those Muta and one Archon. It's pretty hard to defend your Templar with just one Archon.
Yeah, so SuGo's pushing the issue. He's got to have to fight two Sunkens and a few Hydras.
Yeah.
So, but the Hydra is down, so that means there's no more anti-air for the Mutas, and this attack is going to be stopped pretty easily.
Yeah, NeMu did a nice job there. He was target firing that Archon with the Sunkens, and so now this is just basically one of these ditch attempts where you have to throw away your army to get the Mutas off your back, and it's a horrible trade for SuGo. And we can see NeMu now at, what, a 30 supply advantage almost? 25 supply advantage?
Yeah, that's not where you want to be as Protoss. And we see NeMu following up with Greater Spire. Now, the Zealots did get in there.
I was going to say, I was wondering if there might be a Greater Spire. I was like, well, if he's going Hive with just Muta, this is kind of weird. No Lurkers out. But yeah, Greater Spire would make sense.
So we've got Stargate desperately going up for SuGo, but it's only one. So I don't know if it's going to be enough. Of course, there's only... oh, wow, there's a ton of Mutas out. I saw only 4 minutes ago. Now we're up to 11. So this is going to be a lot of Guardians coming out with Devourer support.
Yeah,
and there's just no counter for SuGo
done
right now.
And he threw away his whole army, so he's sitting back on nothing. He's on 2 bases, so he doesn't even have that much gas. He's not even getting +1 for his Corsair, so he's gonna have these like 1 or 2 mediocre Corsairs to deal with this. It just looks really, really bad.
Yeah, and NeMu knows that SuGo saw the Greater Spire, so he knows that Sairs are coming. So he doesn't even necessarily have to build Guardians at this point. He can just power, essentially, because you know what SuGo's doing. He's spamming out Templar, Dragoon, Sair. That's all he's going to be building. So it's not like SuGo plans to be attacking anytime soon. Meanwhile, NeMu's powering hard. He's got bottom right up and running. He's got a macro hat going. He's got double evolution chambers up.
He's laying out those Guardian morphs here outside the minerals in a nice spread out location. Going to just suck up all the storms of the Templar, can pull back. Now 1 Corsair will be out. He'll probably be morphing a Devourer or have some Scourge coming. Oh, that's actually going to get some kills. They're kind of vulnerable here at this stage. He needs to get his Muta back over here.
So somehow that one Sair actually killed a Guardian.
Yeah.
But here come those Mutas.
Now the Stair's going to run, and SuGo's a little slow to react.
Now, I like this count of Guardians that NeMu's made. Oh, okay, that's a big...
That's a little sloppy by NeMu, though, to have 2 Guardians in the same place to get stormed there.
Yeah, so
and this is really frustrating for SuGo, because he's not able to mine even double gas, and, you know, if you're trying to make Corsair, Templar, Dragoon, that's a lot of gas that he does not have access to right now.
Yeah, and NeMu's just constantly making Guardians one at a time. I like this because it's going to blow storms. If he can ever clear the Sairs... Oh, wow, SuGo's going to survive. He's going to have an overwhelming amount of Sairs now, so he'll clean it up pretty easily.
Yeah, with 3 Sairs and no +1 for the Guardians, this will obviously get cleaned up. Surprisingly, he didn't make a Devourer. Oh, he is making one, but it's going to be a bit on the late. So, well, it's done now. Let's see what that Devourer can do. See if he has any more Scourge or Muta or something coming. Needs to get a few more of those Acid Spores down, and then those Corsairs will go down fast. But a lot of Dragoons out now as well. Oh, Guardian, whoops.
Yes, that Devourer is going to go down. Now, normally Protoss goes for a big, strong 2-0 timing, which SuGo is going to try and do here, but it's so late. His supply is so low. We're at 90. Usually would be
Yeah.
maybe around like 140 or so. And keep in mind, NeMu's on Hive Tech. We're not fighting Lair Tech Zerg at this point. So I can't imagine this fight going well for SuGo unless these storms, they're going to have to be miraculous.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at this army. It's a bunch of speedlings and lurkers against mostly dragoons. As long as these archons go down, just what are you gonna do? And you got to remember, SuGo already gave up almost a control group or more of the zealots. He gave up an archon. He just so much in that previous attack that he now doesn't have for this one. And NeMu lost nothing defending SuGo's little get the mutas off the back desperation attack.
Yeah, so SuGo's coming in here.
And there's not an ob, so there's that problem too.
There's no ob. So this is, again, a heartbreaker for SuGo because he wants to make something happen, but he flat out can't do it. If he tries to get through the lurkers with the storm, then he's going to have no storm to deal with the lings and hydras.
He is trying to kind of ninja bottom base here, but NeMu's got his overlord there. Now it's just out of vision, but all NeMu has to do here in a quiet moment is move that overlord an inch, and then it'll be very easy to get a pair of hivelings down, or like a group of hivelings down there and kill that off. And some lings sneaking by, gonna trap a few zealots, so that's just even more annoying for SuGo. Can't even reinforce this army with a few zealots in the composition. And just look at all these lings. Like, against a mostly dragoon army, oh my god, these lings are just gonna shred.
Yeah, Zerg supply is monstrous. We got 140 versus 110 plus lurker plus hydra support. Here he goes. He knows where the army is. He's just gonna flank it from all directions. There's a lot of
Archon's out in the front, so it's gonna go down fast. And really, this Archon is all that's keeping this army able to fight lings at all.
Oh my god, it's disgusting. Look at all the angles of Zergling coming in here.
Oh man, the Archon's even away from the army. It was never gonna be enough, but the Archon wasn't even tucked in to fight. And GG, no obs. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, so SuGo going to lose 2-0 to NeMu. NeMu showing us that not only can he talk the talk, he can walk the walk. He's really bringing it today, and it was fantastic play. I loved the first game, really keeping SuGo on his toes, but he played phenomenally in the last game too. Like, I've never seen such fast hive tech, but he used it very well. It was genius versus SuGo.
Yeah. And I guess I kind of feel like SuGo just didn't quite have the right response, as he was caught a little too off guard. His decisions just, weren't there. It wasn't like NeMu was like out microing him or stuff like that. It was just like SuGo wasn't really making what he needed to and responding the correct way to NeMu's sort of atypical play. I just felt like NeMu understood what he was going for much better than SuGo did against this non-standard kind of unorthodox play.
Yeah, NeMu playing a little unorthodox there, making a weird third hatch, but working out for him. And we got to give credit to NeMu because he played really well. Also, I love the muta harassment on Eddie. He shut down the mineral line at the natural and the main. That was great. And then he forced out a bunch of sunk cannons, delayed SuGo's push a lot. So it was really nicely played. I
feel like that muta switch was pretty tricky. Because if you're not scouting gas at third base, like, that's pretty unusual. Like, 4 hatches, especially with like late gas, it's usually Hydra. Usually Zerg doesn't muta switch off 4 hatch like that. So, I can understand SuGo getting caught off guard, but that move already just put SuGo so far on the back burner.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the beginning. I pointed out normally you have a 230 gas, and we saw that it was a 430 or 5-minute gas. So we even saw what was unfolding, overlooking what Zerg was doing, and we still didn't know it was going to be muta. So of course, SuGo, no way he could guess that. So regardless, fantastic play from NeMu.